When using torque, key commands can be pretty useful, and we've basically given you one modifier key that you need to use. Some programs you have to remember, is it control this, or apple this, or option this? In the case of torque, it's always shift. Shift is the one button you need to remember, and the nice thing is, whether you're Mac or PC, it's the same way, so you don't have to learn different key commands to use different systems. Now, there are many functions in torque that use this alternate shift key to get a different behavior. Most of the time, it's just to reset something back to a default setting. For example, if I were to turn down the low EQ on a track and then hold shift and click, it resets back to 0. Same thing happens if I turn down a volume, shift and click, it resets back to 0. If I were to detune a track 5 semitones, shift click on the button, it will reset itself back to 0 again. You'll find that when you float the mouse over a lot of these buttons, you'll get a tooltip that pops up. Now, if it ever has an asterisk after it, that means there is a second function for that button when you hold the shift key down. And you'll actually see it. This one here says seek backwards, but if I hold down shift, it changes to start of track. And as you'll see, when this song is playing here, if I hold shift and press the button, it takes it back to the beginning of the track again. If I press shift and press the other one, it'll go to the end of the track. So those are just quick ways to jump back and forth inside the song using shift. Now, you can also use shift to offset the phase grid in a song in case the BPM detection didn't work properly. As we can see here, this one's pretty much right. Might need to shift a little bit to the left, so I'm going to hold the shift key down, click and drag, and now I can move the phase grid around until it's lined up right where I want it to. Same thing can be done from the exponent. These buttons right here both function as the shift key. If I hold down shift and rotate the wheel, I end up offsetting the phase grid again. So I can line that up right where I want it, and even the function of holding shift and rewind takes me back to the beginning of the song. Shift fast forward takes me to the end. So the same shift function that works on the computer will also work on the hardware. Another function that shift is used for is for setting quick cue points. So while the music is playing, I can hold shift and press a quick cue button and drop a quick cue in that location. And then I can go back and jump to those various locations by not holding shift. I can also do things like reset the pitch of the song back to its original by holding shift and just touching the fader. So if I have the song playing and I slow it down, I hold shift and I just touch the fader, and we see on screen that the fader reset back to 0. So now this song is playing exactly at its original tempo. Shift can also be used to change the crossfader curve for the crossfader in torque. As we can see right now, we kind of get a nice little fade out as the crossfader is moved to the right. If I want this to be a much harder kind of cut curve, all I have to do is hold down shift and drag to the right on the crossfader. We can see the graphic starts to widen out, indicating a sharper cut-in curve. If I were to shift and drag the other way, I'll end up getting what's practically an equal power contour, where it takes a long time for the crossfader to actually fade up to full volume. So depending on what style of crossfading you like to do, just hold shift and then set right where you like it.